Okay, today we have Ayn Rand's The Virtue of Selfishness. And this is a very, very short book. I mean, the size of the book is very small as well, so it's something you can fly through. And it's very, very interesting because Ayn Rand is someone that I've heard about a lot, but I've never actually read. And I was pleasantly surprised. I thought I was going to disagree with her a lot of things. In some regards, I think she's very limited in the sense that she doesn't explore deeper elements of consciousness, and I think it's very surface level in some regards, but overall, very interesting book. Overall, very, very insightful. And I want to really tackle the title because I think the title is the most interesting facet of this book. The title is The Virtue of Selfishness, and what does that mean? What does it mean to be selfish? Why is selfishness a virtue? Why is it something that is so oftentimes thought of as negative? Why is it actually a good thing? And Ayn Rand puts forth a very strong argument. Her overall point is basically along the lines of like, what we think is selfishness really isn't selfishness. Like is it selfish for you to want to become all you can be? Is it selfish for you to do something because you want to do it? What true selfishness is it's righteousness. It's living authentically. And what we commonly coin as selfishness is putting your interest above others. But inherently, if you're putting your interest above others, that is not a selfish act. What that is an act of bringing down mankind. And she classifies this as something completely different. To value yourself above others is not a selfish interest, because when you start putting yourself above others, then you're going to inherently bring negative consequences. And this is really what Ayn Rand is talking about. She also talks about, are you making a decision for the sake of yourself, or are you making a decision for the sake of others? And this is something I've talked about time and time again, but I thought she put it very interestingly. She was like, if you go to school to become a doctor because your mother told you to, is that a selfish act, or is that an act of cowardice? Is that an act that you did out of fear? And that's most of what we do today. We do things because we have a certain sense of morality. We do things because we feel like we have a duty. We have to do a certain thing. We have to take a certain course in life. And this is really the worst thing you can do for yourself. And then Ayn Rand goes to begin talking about her politics, her political philosophy, which I found actually very interesting. Normally that's not something I'd be very, very interested in, but I thought it was a very balanced perspective, and I thought it was something that was very inspiring. She talked about communism, she talked about socialism, she talked about capitalism, and she talked about really the pitfalls of all of them. Ayn Rand seems to me to be very much like an anarchist, libertarian style of figure. Actually, not an anarchist at all, because she actually advocated for people voluntarily giving money away for services, people voluntarily paying for police and things like that. So that would fall more along the lines of libertarian than an anarchist, but very fiercely for the individual. She thought the individual would be brought up the most through a capitalist society because you could vote with your wallet. You could say what you wanted by actively putting money towards it, by actively supporting something through your own means. And it was very interesting because she basically said that governments were the monopolization of force. And the only thing that a government does is it makes sure that everything is done fair, everything is done in order, and violence isn't used unnecessarily. And she believed that a good government is one that's not present in your life. It's very, very much analogous to what Henry David Thoreau said it is civil disobedience. And I thought this political insight was very, very interesting. It was really refreshing to read something political that I just didn't throw away. Like anytime I start getting into politics, anytime I start getting into things, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, because I think a lot of political philosophers think about people as wooden blocks, as chess pieces, as if you give this set of scenario, if you give this stimulus, it's going to do this to people. But Ayn Rand recognizes the individualistic nature of people and how people's individual psychology will always get in the way of order, will always get in the way of these plans. Think of any time that there's a policy made, it always has some disastrous impacts that are not foreseen. Like, this is something Thomas Sowell will always say, there's no such thing as solutions, there's only trade-offs. And that's really the downfall with most political philosophy. That's really the downfall with most policy. And it's interesting to see Ayn Rand have a idea that might actually work. And to be honest, if you give people more individual freedoms, I think people will be more willing and more open to embrace them and be more kind to their fellow man, instead of asking for someone else to do it, instead of asking for someone else to carry out our own interests. Like, when you give your power, when you give your agency to someone else, do you think they're going to make a good decision for you? I mean, this is the big gripe with lawyers. Lawyers are there to be your representative, but are they really helping you, or are they just trying to make more money? And that's really the conflict of interest that we're brought up with when we talk about politicians, when we talk about people that say they have our best interest in mind, but really oftentimes they have their own ulterior motives. And overall, I really like this book. Overall, it made me go pick up, what book did I pick up? Huge book, very big book in comparison to The Virtue of Selfishness, but I really just picked up Atlas Shrugged because I did like her philosophy. I'm interested to see how it's going to be applied in a literary sense, and she's probably someone that I'm going to study more and more and talk about more and more and bring up more and more because I think she has a very unique philosophy. I think it's something very much worth reading because she hits at a few key elements that I think most philosophers, most politicians, most pundits do not understand. And if they read this, I think they would have a much better sense of how to actually solve things because I like to always bring it back to the Gandhi quote, be the change you want to see in the world. You're never going to be able to compel someone to do anything. And even if you do it by force, there's still going to be resistance. Even if you arrest people, they're still going to be shaking the cage and asking and demanding to be out. And when they get out the opportunity, they're going to try to get revenge. But what you can do is you can influence people. You can inspire people. You can never change someone by telling them what to do. You can only inspire them to change through their own actions. And that's really what Ayn Rand is asking for. She's asking for fierce individuals to be the beacon and the pillar of light, like Nietzsche's idea of the Übermensch. If you have people that don't conform, then it will uplift humanity through their example. And that's really to me an inspiring idea. That's really to me what the real Christian faith should be about. But again, now we're getting into different topics, and now I feel like I'm just ranting about things that are unrelated to the book. If you guys haven't seen it, I just made it so that all my videos are going to have a link that allow you guys to suggest me books. So how that works is it's basically like I have a few questions. It's like, what's the title of the book, page length, why you like it, give me a brief summary, why you think I would like it, and now it's going to start compiling a list for me of things you guys suggest. So slowly but surely, I'm going to go through these books and either give you guys feedback. I think I can collect your guys' emails, so I can let you guys know what I actually thought individually, and I'll also make videos. But yeah, it should be fun. It should be cool. Going to be a new element, a new facet that we can add to this channel. I think it'll be interesting to have like lists of best books people have suggested to me. Hopefully you guys don't suggest huge books so we can get through as many as possible. But with that said, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. Peace out. I will catch you in the next one. Channel growth has been crazy. I just want to say thank you guys so much. It feels weird. It feels weird. Like it feels like I deserve it. It feels like I've worked hard for it, but at the same time, like it feels better than I thought it would. So with that said, use me as an example for you being able to achieve whatever you want. Like if I can live out my dreams, if I can live out the things that I want to do and have fun doing it, that means you can do it as well. And that should inspire you to just take up the mindset of like, I'm going to feel like I can already do it and live out the process and feel the journey and just have fun along the way. And that's how I'm living my life day to day. Peace out.